Greetings. This is the Getto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines in Valdosta, Georgia. While living in Valdosta, I have noticed that the people are very strange here. They won't take on the issues, even the issues that affect them, their children, their neighbors, and coming generations. Today, I want to talk about how I have posted many videos about our elected city officials and county officials that refuse to fly the Georgia flag over buildings paid for with taxpayers' dollars. Now, I know I'm going to be called a Martin Luther King wannabe, a Jesse Jackson lookalike, an outside agitator, or a devil, simply because there are other active duty, disabled, retired military veterans such as myself that just sit here in Valdosta and will not address the issue of why there is no state flag flying over public buildings that deal with city government here in Valdosta, Georgia. Yes, you're going to call me a lot of dirty names because I love our veterans and active duty personnel, down to those that are stationed at Moody Air Force Base as I speak. When I look around, I think about the base commander at Moody Air Force Base. I think about the wing commander at Moody Air Force Base. I think about the chief master sergeants and other top 3 enlisted ranks. Many are retired. They retired here. And they see that there is no Georgia flag being flown over Valdosta City Hall, where Mayor John Gale is the mayor of this metro city. When you look at the Lowndes County Museum, the city annex, the Lowndes County Judicial Complex with your high-ranking judges, renowned lawyers, all go into that building. But they don't love or respect the active duty personnel enough to look up at the flagpole and see the United States flag flying all alone. What does that say to our Governor Nathan Deal? What does that say to the people that serve in the National Guard Armory, or when a storm come through and the governor give out an order for them to come into the cities, the National Guard Armory, to come in, personnel, and take care of the wounded, the injured? They fly under that flag. They serve under the Georgia flag. But here in Valdosta, the metro city in South Georgia, the last big city in the state of Georgia, and these elected officials, many of them are black, African Americans, if you will, but they just sit, say, and do nothing. What a great disrespect is being given to the young people in particular, who put their life on the line, willing to die for this country. Now look, I'm going to close. I'm going to leave you with this message. I was not a general. I was not a colonel. I was not a commissioned officer. But it seems to me that those high-ranking generals at Moody Air Force Base, who have mothers and fathers, sons stationed at Moody Air Force Base should say something to the chairman of the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners. Somebody in the state of Georgia, somebody in Georgia legislature should call the elected officials here in Valdosta, Georgia, and say, y'all know what? We don't like how you're dishonoring the mother's children stationed at Moody Air Force Base, just a few miles away. Somebody in Islam, a Muslim maybe, somebody who may be following the teachings of Amram and Yoshabel, Moses, or Allah under Elijah Muhammad or Wallace Houdin Muhammad. Somebody under Mason Temple in the Church of God in Christ, or the Baptists, or the Methodists, or the Jehovah's Witnesses. Somebody other than George Boston Ryan should say something, and don't just say and do nothing. But then again, you know, we're living in Valdosta, Lowndes County, Georgia, where the people here are so different until if Jesus came back today, he would look around and he probably would say, well, you know what? Greetings. This is the Getto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Ryan. And I heard about this lady in Fort Worth, Texas, by the name of Crystal Mason that was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. I think she's going to serve 10 months, but the bottom line is she got 5 years for voter fraud in Fort Worth, Texas. And all it is a pattern and practice to stop, suppress, control, and remove black elected officials from office. And I've been talking about that for a long time here in the state of Georgia. And this is a picture of that young lady right here. And I'm going to connect up with her in the next few days, although she's in prison. But I'm going to find a way to help paint the picture for her and what black folks are going through even after they serve their country here in the United States, where whites are in power. And many of them are proving themselves to be something that we as black folk thought we had moved away from. So once again, this is the Getto Free Press. I'm George Boston Ryan. This is Crystal Mason. Crystal Mason, I know you at some point probably will get to hear about, maybe through your family members or your children, about the voter suppression that's going on in the state of Georgia, while CNN, 60 Minutes, 48 Hours, Dateline, ABC, 60 Seconds, and Your Line refuse to connect the dots of what's going on in the state of Georgia, across the state of Georgia. Under Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp, and as you all know here in the state of Georgia, Brian P. Kemp is running for governor of the state of Georgia. In my most humble opinion, he should not even be considered for that office because of his poor, disgraceful track record concerning voting rights here in the state of Georgia. And if you look at the State Board of Elections board here in the state of Georgia, it's all white. I have gone to some of their meetings and it's all white, even in 2018. I tell you, it's kind of sickening. But we as black folk got to understand that God is still on our side. And regardless of what comes or goes, we still going to win, because in the end, truth, right, and justice have always won. And wickedness and wrong may endure for a night or a day, but when morning come or the next day after, truth is forever shining bright as the sun, because God so ordained it that way. Once again, the Getto Free Press crying out from Valdosta, Georgia. My sympathy go out to you, to Crystal Gale. When I saw this on Facebook this morning, I had to say something. I'm going to hit you up tonight. I'm going to share what's happening across the state of Georgia. This is you're not by yourself. You're not alone. And you say it in the article that you thank God for him allowing you to suffer and go through what you've gone through. And I'm here to go through it with you, because I am anyway. And until black people wake up to the realities of now, This is going to continue to happen to our people and our children, along with coming generations. And I can't understand how all these retired military veterans, disabled veterans, cannot get involved in the political arena when it comes down to voting rights in the state of Georgia and apparently around the nation. Once again, the Getto Free Press, George Boss Ryan, we report what others ignore. And when you get an opportunity, my beautiful sister, tell your family members to go to YouTube, Boston G.B.R. That's YouTube, Boston G.B.R. I've been doing this for many years. With pretty soon it'll be 2 million views around the world, 3,000 subscribers. Why don't you click and join this channel? Peace be unto you. Bye-bye. Go. Greetings. This is the Getto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines, and I report what others ignore. I'm standing in the little town of Whitman, Georgia, and I want to draw your attention to the people that served in the armed forces of the state of Georgia and in the United States of America in Vietnam, Korea, and other major wars and conflicts of our beloved nation. Here is a little monument that is erected here in the little town of Whitman in the county of Brooks. And as you see a United States flag, and you also see POW flags and many other flags. But what you do not see here is a flag that represents our National Guard personnel, men and women who serve in the armed forces in the state of Georgia. It seems as if though if there is a conspiracy not to fly the honorable Georgia state flag for reasons unknown to some, but very known to others. And as we look at the courthouse, the Brooks County Courthouse, you will see a United States flag as well as a Georgia flag. But when you cut across the City Hall, right across the hallway there, the street there, you see the United States flag, but there is no Georgia state flag. So the question is, why is there no Georgia flag being flown in many cities and municipalities in the state of Georgia? It seems as if though there is a well-known pattern and practice not to fly the flag that the legislators approved when they got rid of the old, what some call the Confederate flag. And so we're not going to say anything bad about anybody. We just going to say that this, in my opinion, as a retired military veteran, this is total disrespect for our military forces. And Valdosta and Brooks County is close to Moody Air Force Base. That means that the wing commanders, base commanders, and the personnel stationed at Moody Air Force Base, along with all National Guard, Army personnel, are disrespected. And I can't understand how elected officials allow this to happen across the state of Georgia. In Kingsland, Georgia, Douglas, Georgia, Valdosta, Georgia, and many other cities. And I'm going to continue to talk about it because when we send our sons and daughters to join the National Guard Armory, well, they represent the state of Georgia. And I can't understand why there is no flag to represent our children. Once again, this is the Getto Free Press. I'm George Boston Rhines, and there is a Georgia flag flying beneath the United States flag at the Brooks County Courthouse, but not at City Hall, nor at this monument here. And we're just going to continue to talk about it. If no other military veterans, if the wing commanders at Moody Air Force Base don't talk about it, we're going to do it because I love my children and I love your children. Those who put their life on the line, those parents whose children are dead, they put their life on the line on foreign battlefields. And yet our elected officials in the state of Georgia will not honor them by flying the approved United States flag and the Georgia state flag beneath it. Peace be unto you. Bye-bye. We're gone. Greetings. I'm George Boston Rhines with the Getto Free Press, and I see in the Valdosta Daily Times today, Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, there is a article concerning a local restaurant called Jimmy John's workers fired after video surfaces. I had been notified of this incident dealing with the race issue, and what I want to do this morning is to show you and to talk about what some people in Valdosta don't want to be known. They don't want it to be published for reasons yet to be determined. However, if you remember, years ago, I noticed a 1860 Valdosta City Charter that was displayed here in Valdosta, second floor of City Hall, leading into Judge Edwards' courtroom many years ago. That 1860 charter said that the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to control, suppress, and abate all nuisances arriving from hogs, dogs, horses, or other livestock straying at large in Valdosta. To make a long story short, after several requests before Mayor Freddie and the council, they eventually removed that disgraceful charter and stored it in places or a place yet to be determined. Now, if you remember, graffiti about a couple of weeks ago was spray painted on a black female's restaurant here. Channel 10 published it, and Channel 27 published it, and Channel 6 as well. And you can see it on Boston G.B.R. channel. But the point is that the graffiti and the words that were mentioned were mostly blocked out, but I have the complete car. I walked around the car and I talked about it. Well, in today's Valdosta Daily Times, you will see that particular article that I originally started out with about this restaurant and individuals with the KKK uniform on. And I just want to say to you, good people, that we have a problem here in Valdosta. Nobody want to address it. Everybody seems to want to ignore it. But racism is alive and well in Valdosta. Don't take my word for it. White people know it. Black people know it. Judges know it. Attorneys know it. Doctors know it. Common folk on the street know it. Inmates know about it. Everybody, churches know about it. Pastors are aware about it. They talk about it behind closed doors. And many white folks tell us about what's going on that we would not even know about if white folks didn't tell us. And it's all the way up to the judicial system. It's in the school system. Racism is alive and well. And we got to start talking about it. Black man, black woman, black children, and white people. We got to talk about it. We can no longer sit back, say, and do nothing. If you remember, even the Valdosta City School was under a 40 or 50-year court order to integrate, to hire more black educators. And if that has been done yet, I don't know. And so somebody got to talk about it. Yes, somebody must talk about it. If we love our children, grandchildren, great-grands, and coming generations, we must talk about it. We must talk about it. Now, this article in the Valdosta Daily Times is strange, in my opinion, that it's not on the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times. Maybe they've already ran it. I don't know, because I've been preparing a video to criticize the Times for not publishing the picture of that young man or whoever that was in the uniform. You see, the people need to know the truth. St. John says that where there is no truth, there can be no freedom. And once you are willing to face the truth, then you can move forward. But as long as Valdosta can have black boys running the football, pigskin, up and down the road, up and down the field, up and down the ocean, but they can never come together on economic equality, wherein blacks and poor white are included in the economic makeup of this city, Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. Somebody must sound the alarm. So Valdosta, you know, I was downtown this week, and an Indian business owner said to me, why is it that black folk can go to church and expect God to do everything for them, but don't demand economic justice here in the city of Valdosta, Georgia? I was surprised to hear an Indian man say that. And so this morning, when I read in the Valdosta Daily Times about something I was already getting ready to publish about the KKK uniform, I'm sitting here with my brother, and I say, he the one hand me this paper. I say, I got to say something about it. And look, members, if your pastor is too heavenly afraid to address the issues in your community, then why are you sitting under them? I know I'm going to get some flack for that, and I need the flack, but I ain't going back on it. How can you sit under a pastor that when they have problems in the community, your pastor is nowhere to be found? Your pastor don't get involved in nothing. If you got a lawyer and he is your reserved attorney, and all this going on in your community, and your pastor never say boo. If you got a principal at a school and he's black, or if you call him white right, and he don't say nothing, how can you respect him? If you got a mother, father, sister, brother, friend, or enemy, and if your children need help, and he just pray to Jesus, or he pray to Allah, and don't get involved, how can you respect him? Or if it's me, I'm guilty too. How can you respect me when I fail to help my own children and my neighbor's children across the street? Well, I'm going to close now, y'all. I just want y'all to know, more black folk got to stop talking behind closed doors, trying this a racist city. I hear white folk. I got white friends who will get on this video with me right now. I got some white friends right now that are ready to speak. I keep them from talking. Pretty soon, I'm going to get them on my. I know you all don't believe me. I'll make a promise to you. Within 1 week, I'm going to have some white people. I'm going to do interviews on some white people who will tell you what's going on, including white people who do drugs. Yeah, they do drugs too. I'm talking about some people you wouldn't believe. I hold that back because, and I'm not going to address that, I do believe a person have a right to do what he wants in his own house. But there's one thing about it. You can hide from man, but you will not hide from God. Once again, this is the Getto Free Press, and I'm asking you all to forgive me for highlighting racism here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia, because it is real, man. It's real as real can be. And I'm going to make a promise to you all. It's not going to stay this way. It's not going to always be where we have blacks on city council that won't stand up for the people that voted them in office. Those days are not permanent. Those days are not permanent. I go to, really, I'm going to about 35 or 40 cities now. And these Uncle Toms and Aunt Janes, black folk, are being exposed. It started in Chicago, according to records I have obtained. And they making a list of all these Uncle Toms and Aunt Janes. I'm not talking about as in the days of old, because in the days of old, the Uncle Toms and Aunt Jane was not our enemies. They was our friends because they brought information back that have saved lives of black people. But we are talking about the new Uncle Toms and Aunt Jane who get in place and they get scary as heaven and never represent the people that voted them in the office. And then when white folks are around, they don't even want to shake your hand. They treat you like you're a sycophant. They treat you like you're a megalomaniac. Most black folk that I know, they get around white folk and you be there, they treat you like you're a second-class citizen. Now, wait a minute. I know you're talking about me. I'm not talking about, I'm telling you what other blacks say. Because you treat me pretty well. And it's a disgrace. Are you afraid of your blackness? Are you ashamed that God, the Creator, made you black? There's nothing wrong with black. Nothing. So I'm just going to ask you a question. My brothers and sisters, It is indeed time now for the black man, woman, and his children to stand up, especially if you say you love Jesus. How can you say you love Jesus and you living in hate and you're living in fear? You go to church, clap your hands, say hallelujah, hallelujah, and hallelujah, but scared as hell. I don't blame you for it, because I used to be the same way. But when God set me free, he said, Brother Ryan, I ain't never used a scary soldier in my army. And that's when I fell on my way to the bus station. Look, I just call on all Americans to understand. Black man, black woman, black children. We must not fear. We must not fear anything. For God did not give us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. Peace be unto you. Bye-bye, we're gone. I went live because you are alive. And because you are alive, I want you to know the truth. And Jesus said, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall make you free. Once again, to Get To Free Press, we report what others ignore. And I'm asking you all to go down to Jay's Restaurant, right down on Ash Street, on the right-hand side, like on going north. Black lady just opened a restaurant. And it's a shame what they published on her car. They published on the car, black bitch, nigger bitch, get out. All of this was published. Why didn't the Valdosta Daily Times, let me say it again, why did not the Valdosta Daily Times put that on the front page so the people at Moody Air Force Base would let them know what town you're living in? The people attending Valdosta State University, so they would know the town that they're living in. Wiregrass Technical College, Georgia Military College. Why is it? And somebody got to tell the truth, because if you don't tell the truth, we'll always be slaves to the system. But there are some of us who are called, chosen, and elected to tell the truth, because I love you just that much. Have you noticed I'm not angry? You notice I'm not angry? But I love you enough to tell you the truth. Bye-bye. We gone. Greetings. You know, I've been saying for a long time that we don't have a real news media outlet in South Georgia that will report the truth, and people who's becoming despondent. They're getting where they don't trust the news media networks. I received more information about a canine being shot by a police officer here in Valdosta. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. After all, I have one person to tell me that, but it's getting now where we don't know what to believe, because the rumors on the streets are many, but when we don't see the news media publish the cutting edge news, it's like we don't have nobody to substantiate the facts, and so we have to rely on innuendos and rumors. It is very, very sad as well as sickening. A metro city without a real news source that will publish the truth, and it's really embarrassing, I think, to our form of government, number one, here in the United States. I can't talk much about the dog being shot by a member of law enforcement in the city police. I don't know, but anyway, I'm just sharing that because somebody else keep calling me. So if you know about incidents like this, you need to call somebody. You don't necessarily have to call me, but call somebody, and somebody put it on Facebook. They'll be more radical in their publication of the event than I am. I'm kind of reserved, but it's just beginning to bother me when so many things happening. I have people call me and ask me, do I know about why Chief Childress resigned or was fired? I don't know. I've been told 3 different things even by government officials. I don't get into that much, but I just wish that we had a newspaper that would tell the truth. I wish we had TV stations, Channel 6, Channel 10, and 27 will tell the truth, so that people won't have to have all these rumors on the street. And it's been going on for a long time. And so the people believe what's on the street because they don't have a news source that's reliable or that the people can trust. So you got more people believing the good old boy system, cover-ups, and one thing and another. And so it's just really sad, y'all, when we living in a free democratic society, they tell us we send our sons and daughters to go fight on foreign lands, and then the news in our community, in many cases, we call members of the press, and they won't even show up. Now, you may say, well, I'm just creating that. Well, if you go to Boston G.B.R. on YouTube, you'll see that I'm working many cities, 25 to 30 cities, wherein newly elected black officials are under attack under Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp. And I know you all think that maybe I'm just saying this about Brian P. Kemp to hurt him and hurt his campaign. Well, if you look at the date on these videos, you'll see that these videos of truth was published before he ever announced that he would be running for governor. It dates back to 2010 when the Secretary of State and his all-white Board of Elections brought up over 100 to 200 charges against Equipment 10 plus 2. And I've had Mayor Whippaloo and Gordon to write Secretary of State, the Attorney General. I had Olivia Coley Pearson over in Douglas to write state officials. I had Charles Gibson in Lumpkin. I had Christopher Wright in Dawson, Georgia. And you can go all around the state wherein they requested help because of a white pattern and practice to remove black from office, as well as to intimidate, suppress, and stop the black vote. And this was before Secretary of State announced that he would be running for governor. But I'm asking you to go to Boston G.B.R. and look and see what kind of newspaper we got in, not newspaper, but news outlets we got, Associated Press in the state of Georgia. And it is a disgrace. This is why I say I don't know why people, young black people in particular, because a lot of the black news just not reported. I don't know why you're serving in the armed forces, man, if you can't have a free press that will report the news in the black community. Then why are you serving? I did 20 plus years in the armed forces, and looking back over, and for me, for instance, I'm under a 5-year criminal trespass here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and nobody would even touch it. Nobody reported on it. I had a 14-year-old girl that was hog-tied at Pine Grove Middle School in Lowndes County. The mother tried to get all the TV stations, Channel 6, 27, and 10, years ago to report it to the general public, as well as the Valdosta Daily Times, and they could not find it within themselves to publish what happened to that young 14-year-old girl. And here again, this is why people don't trust the South Georgia news media outlets. And I'm hoping that one day all that will change, because I just don't see any need of us going to fight a war in foreign nations of the world when we really ought to be fighting here in the United States of America for equal justice under the law. And just sad, y'all, but somebody got to speak the truth. I know you all won't share this post because a lot of people just don't care. They don't care until their child gets stopped or beat up or killed. Then they'll join in the civil rights movement, and they'll come looking for somebody to help them. But they won't never think about it until something happened to them or their child. And while I'm at it, a lot of you all asked me about the celebration for Kendrick Johnson. I've been getting people hitting me up, sending me in my email about that, and why didn't I cover that story? Well, let me say this to you. I've been doing what I do since 1975, and I try to use the wisest judgment that I can get in covering cases, but often I go when I feel comfortable. When I get where people don't call me about certain events, they feel they don't want me to be there, then I'm not saying that's the case, but I've always been that way. I go all around the state. I didn't start when Kendrick Johnson was found dead in Lowndes County High School on January the 13th, 2013. I did not start then. I've been doing this a long time. The death of Kendrick Johnson is just one little small portion of what I do. And if you see, I got probably 1 million views just on that case alone. But I don't go around to just to do something, just to be doing it. And I respect people. I respect families. I've always done that to the best of my ability. I'm going to continue to do it. And so I want to say to you who are asking me about that particular event, I can't tell you nothing about that event because I wasn't there. I didn't know it was taking place. And I'm going to continue to do what I do. I'm going to be where I am when I can. I'm going to help who I can if they want me to. But if they don't, then I got so many other things to do. I don't have to go where people don't want me to be. And so once again, this is the Getto Free Press, and I report what others ignore. I'm going to continue, And so the people who asked me a question about that event and why I wasn't there, well, I'm going to say to you, I can't be everywhere. I talked to the Father. We're okay. But the people who are calling asking me why didn't I report it, well, let me say this to you. Peace be unto you. I love you. And I've been doing this since 75. I don't go down the road of criticizing nobody because most people are doing exactly what God wants them to do. The people who are negative, they do that because that's their calling. See, some people are born into the world to criticize. That's all they can do. Walk around and criticize other people, condemn them, throw stones at them. That's all they can do. And until they get ready to reach out for somebody to help them, then they'll come to you and we'll help them because that's the flavor of our nature and the nature of our flavor. Once again, to Getto Free Press, I'm George Boston Rhymes. I do what I do because somebody must do it, and I do it because I love you just that much. Bye-bye. We're gone. Greetings. This is the Getto Free Press, and I'm George Rhymes. I'm sitting here having a cup of coffee with my friend John Robertson, and I read in the paper Tuesday, and I started to omit it, but I think it's too valuable for me to discard it. It says teenage, not teenage, but it is a teenager. It's a teen charged with bringing firearm to Lowndes High School. And this is, in my opinion, I'm not the editor of any paper, but this should have been on the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times because, once again, it's dealing with the life of our children. But let me say this to you. I'm not going to get into the article so much, but I'm going to throw this out as a piece of information. I'm not a smart person, and I'm not a rocket scientist, but I am a rocking chair operator. To me, this 16-year-old student that carried this firearm on Lowndes County High School property and in the school, this could have been possibly aborted if they would have had the weapons detectors on the entranceway to the school. This is why they need those entrance protectors the same way they put them in courthouses, and some of your city council meetings have those devices. If they had had that detector, that student would have been caught there before he went into the area to endanger the lives of our children. And so I'm recommending that the schools here in Valdosta and Lowndes County spend a little money, maybe not all of them, but definitely the high schools should have these detection devices to send that alarm off when they have those guns. And moreover, the parents who purchase these guns and don't secure them, they should be held to the highest extremities of the law. Once again, this is the Getto Free Press. I'm George Boston Rhymes. I'm not going to hold back no longer because our children's lives are at stake. And I know a lot of people in Valdosta, they scared as heaven. They just want to stay in church and not get involved in anything that deals with the controversial aspects of human life. Well, I used to be the same way, but one day I fell on my way to the bus station. And I hope that some of you appreciate the flavor of my nature and the nature of my flavor. And in spare time, go to Boston G.B.R. on YouTube. That's Boston G.B.R. YouTube, where you'll find 500,000 views around the world, 3,400 subscribers. And so why don't you join the army of truth so we can bring about a better world here in the United States of America. Until next time, bye-bye, we go. Greetings. I'm George Boston Rhymes, and this is in Valdosta, Georgia. And I've been trying to get people to simply look up into the sky and see what is going on in our world. Too many Americans just walk alone and they won't look up. I'm noticing that even the animals are looking up today. And so what I'm doing early this morning is observing the chemtrails that someone have sprayed in the east here in Valdosta, Georgia. And most of the time, these chemtrails are sprayed in the morning, but it starts in the east. And if the sun comes up, it gets warmer, they move them to the west. So these chemtrails is something that I've been watching and posting on Facebook and YouTube. And I just want to draw the American people attention to these chemtrails and the false clouds. You who used to work in the fields or on the farm like I did, you will notice that these clouds today are not like the clouds yesterday. In fact, they look very, very fake. They don't look real. The wind blows them around. And it seems as if though man create these clouds. They look fake, fictitious. Look, this is in the east in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. And it's almost across the United States. Very few people, if anybody, know why they are spraying these chemicals or whatever in the atmosphere. And many of us don't even care. Let me show you. Look at those over there. These are chemtrails over Valdosta, Georgia. And by the way, there's a plane there. See? That's the way they look. I'm asking the American people to look up. Just pull your car over some mornings or some days and look across the sky and ask yourself, what are they doing to us and our children? Or do we care? Look at those. See, those are fake clouds. You didn't see clouds like that in the 60s and 70s. You just didn't see it. Are they trying to heal us, educate us, kill us, intoxicate us, or just make fools out of all of us? And the thing about it, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, 60 Minutes, 48 Hours, Dateline, Nightline, and Your Line will not tell us why. Look at it, there another one came. There are two of them just crisscross across the other one. And nobody knows what they're doing to us. This is the Getto Free Press, George Boston Rhymes. I'm asking you to visit more of my YouTubes about the truth on YouTube, Boston G.B.R. That's Boston G.B.R. You can click if you want to, and if you don't, it don't really matter, but sooner or later, it's gonna catch you. I wanna thank someone in Tampa, Florida for tuning in. I'm glad you're watching this morning. We do what we do because we love you. Bye-bye, we're gone. Power to the people. Pass it on and ask somebody, what are they doing to us? We better get out of these churches. You can go on Sunday, but my God, the other 6 days, you better start looking up and see what they're doing to you. That's one thing about church folk, is that they don't ask the right questions, most of them. And all I can say to you all, let's find out why they're doing this to us and our children. Bye-bye, we're gone. Greetings, this is George Boston Rhymes, the Getto Free Press, sitting down at McDonald's, having a cup of coffee on a Monday morning. And I just want to say greetings to all of my friends and the people who hit me up on Facebook. I want you to know that I love you. But above all, I'm just sitting here chilling, and I want you to know that I'm not talking about anyone. I'm not downing anyone. I'm thanking the divine source for keeping me aware and familiar with what's going on in my world. And before I left out this morning the house, I didn't know what to put in my hand, and so what I did, I remembered the Nation of Islam back in the days of old, before I could digest the beef of what's going on in the world. And so what I did this morning, short form, I picked up a copy of Message to the Black Man. I have about 4 copies of this book at my house. I used to have a bookstore, and I sold these, and I keep these books around. Every so often I have to go back and read Message to the Black Man. It is a very powerful book. I recommend everybody to get a copy of it. When I was young, I picked this book up, and I never forget, I threw it across the floor because it didn't make no sense to me. But as I see what's going on in this world, around the 80s, I picked it back up again. And so y'all have a nice day. If you get an opportunity, read. This is not my book, but it's a powerful book. Message to the Black Man. Peace be unto you. May God bless you, and may heaven smile upon you. I talk the way I do, and I share with you because I love you just that much. Have a nice day. From the woods of South Georgia, Valdosta, Brother Ryan's trying to reach out and touch somebody's life. I know you got a lot of people trying to get you to heaven, but I just want to get you across the street. I just want to get you into a job. I just want you to create your own business. I want to get you into the black businesses wherein black people have created businesses. We would only patronize each other in business. We could get our people up out of the mud tomorrow. And just remember, people set up convenience stores in our communities and will not even return a dime back in our community. And we just go along to get along. And it's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to wake up, y'all. When I was on the radio back in the 70s, I tell you, I tried to give you a balanced diet. At one point, I tried to get you to heaven. But I understood that heaven is tomorrow, but our children need to go to school. They need books. They need pencils. They need right direction. They need hot knowledge. They need to know. So when they go up to go to school, and with all the things that happen in school, they need parents who will address the issues. But some of the children are they're too afraid to even talk about it. Peace be unto y'all. Have a nice day. Pick up a book, man. Read something other than the Bible. I was brought up with the Bible, but when I started reading about the books that are associated with the Bible, for instance, and I know people tell you don't read them, but they told me don't read the lost books of the Bible. So first thing I did, I started reading them. I didn't only read the Bible. I picked up other books. The very ones they told me not to read, those are ones I went and picked up, such as the 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 books of Moses. I picked up the book of the Maccabees, the book of the Apocrypha. I picked up the book of Jasher. I picked up the book of the Wars of God, the big book of the Knowledge of God, and just so many other books, and books that they took from the book for their own reasons. I read about the Alexandrian Library, wherein 300,000 volumes of black people had collected over these ancient of years, and the Catholic Church went in, took all of those historic documents. They burned some, I'm told. I wasn't told, I've read it. They destroyed a lot of those ancient books, and some of them they took beneath the Vatican. People don't want to talk about it. There are books that our ancestors wrote that we know little to nothing about. We don't know the greatness of who we are as a people. And I can't blame you for that, because I used to be the same way. And I still count myself ignorant. I'm not in a position to tell no one because I'm ignorant myself. And I'm smart enough to know I'm ignorant. When I look at what I don't know, I am indeed an ignorant man. I wear a dashiki, the one I have on. I don't know if you can see it or not. But even this dashiki that I'm wearing, if you look at it, you will see this symbol here represents certain things. It represents languages. It represents the bottom of the slave ship. And we wear these things and we don't look at the signs and symbols because nobody's willing to teach us. I hear people often criticizing the Masonic Lodge and the Masons. Well, you can criticize them. I'm a Mason, by the way, but it's not about being a Mason. It's about being a real person that wants knowledge. And when you study the Knights Templars, when you study the Crusades, and when you study the originators, the blacks who wrote the Bible, and then study the Ethiopians, and it's just so much about our heritage is so rich. And sometimes I see people. I got on Facebook this morning and I just watched these grown men, they singing and just moving their bodies and all that look good. But what about somebody that will take the time to try to teach our people something? That's why when I go to church and I hear people sing, but who is willing to give us some good teaching? I know y'all hate Minister Farrakhan, and you hate Elijah Muhammad and Omar Johnson and Ben Yakawin and Henry Clark and Malcolm X. I go back and listen to these people. These were the cornerstones of our community. And if you would just listen, yes, I know Elijah Muhammad was a Muslim, but if we would have listened to that man, we would be better off today. If Elijah Muhammad and if Louis Farrakhan had gotten together And if Jesse Jackson had gotten together, Martin Luther King had gotten together, rather than fighting one another, the Baptists, the Holy, the Methodist, the Presbyterian, the Catholic, the Jehovah's Witnesses, we all come together and understand that we all in this struggle together. We got the same black skin, we catching the same hell. If you're a Christian, you're catching hell. If you're a Muslim, you're catching hell. If you're an ancient Hebrew, black Israelite, you're catching hell. And so why we sit down fighting about, I believe in Jesus, I believe in Jah, I believe in El Shaddai, I believe in whatever, Allah, all these names, the things that people have put out here to divide us and make us fight one another like wild animals. And what I do now is sometimes I go into the woods. I go deep down in the woods so I can get my humanistic mind back and realize that I'm a human being. I get in the forest and I watch the animals. They don't go around just killing each other, snapping each other side the head just for fun and calling each other dirty names and talking about each other. Your head longer than mine. Your teeth is not right. You need to go see a dentist. Animals in the forest just accept one another. Stay out of the way, out of the ones that will eat them up, and they only eat the animals for food. They don't just go around killing them just to see them lie on the street dead. And so, yet we claim to be the high-class animals. If we are the high-class animals, then why can't we stand up and act like it? Today, we are acting like the beasts of the field, and the beast of the field is acting like the human being that God created, but we have lost our instinct. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is look at it. Have you ever seen an elephant spray and pollute the environment? Have you seen a lion dump chemicals in the ocean where you can't eat the fish? Have you seen the fish of the sea put anything on land that destroy man? All he do what God gave him to do, swim in the water, produce fish and little baby fish, and we eat them up. But look at us. Everything we touch, we want to kill it. We want to control it. We are not even supposed to have to pay for water if you think about it. We should not even have to get driver's license if you think about it. We should not have to do all of these things that they had put restrictions on us. And you got to think about these things. They have made slaves out of us, and I don't care what you say. For instance, have you ever seen the State Patrol give a zebra a speeding ticket, and the speed of a zebra is 60 miles an hour? If he can out there and run 60 miles an hour, they don't pull him over and give him no ticket. And so we got all these restrictions they have put on us, and they really have taken away all of our rights. We can't even chew gum in the public now. I mean, it gets on your nerve, but what I'm saying is that we got to wake up today. I went to church one Sunday. Y'all excuse me. Somebody may get mad about this. I ain't going to say it. Y'all have a nice day. Bye-bye. We gone. This is the Get To Free Press. I'm getting ready to go live once again. And I'm doing it because I want the American people to wake up. We've been asleep too long. I'm going to ask a very simple question as we turn the camera. I'm not going to hold you more than 3 minutes, and that's a promise today because I have an obligation, an appointment. But these are chemtrails in the West, as I recorded this morning. To you who don't see a problem with this, that's okay. I just want you to look at the chemtrails and look what they're doing to the skies. MSNBC, CNN, MSNBC, what are they saying on TV? What are the Congress people saying about these chemtrails that they are spraying more and more above our head while we go to work, we go to church, we send our children to school, But we don't know what in heaven they are putting in our atmosphere. And so I'm going to continue to do what no other veteran will do. If he is a sergeant, a chief master sergeant, chief master gunnery sergeant, sergeant major, lieutenant colonel, or general, if no one says anything about this, I'm going to continue. I love my children, I love my grandchildren, I love my great-grandchildren, and I love you too. Most of us do not even consider the chemtrails and what they are doing to our atmosphere. And there may be a great possibility that there's nothing we can do about it. Maybe it's for our good. Maybe they're blocking the signals from extraterrestrials where they cannot make contact with something here on Earth. But you know, when you was a child, you did not see all this junk in the sky. Most of you all will not even share this video, but that's okay. Will it be too late? Will you all be laughing at me for trying to give you the truth when your news media will not give you the truth that I put on Boston G.B.R. channel? Will you laugh at me tomorrow? We don't know what in heaven this is. And the sad point about it is that we all are focused on heaven. We are not living in heaven today. Our children are going to school, but they are not living in heaven. Do you care? Y'all excuse me for raising my voice. You're two beautiful people for me to raise my voice at. But you know, sometimes when I look around this world and I ask people, how can your pastor, how can your imam in Islam, how can your rabbi in Judaism following the teachings of the son of Amram and Yoshabel Moses, but you can't look up in the sky and ask your government, what are you putting in the air for us, man? Are you trying to protect us from extraterrestrials, or are you trying to kill us all? Or are you trying to eliminate or reduce the population? Is this population control? Is it? Is it? This is over Valdosta, Georgia. It's about 2:30. I want you all to have a nice day. Don't get angry with me because I didn't spray that up there. I'm down here on earth with you. I just care enough about you and your children so you can take a look up. I know you drive down the road, but do you ever look up to see what they're spraying in our atmosphere? This stuff look crazy, man. I used to work in peanuts, cotton, chopped tobacco, whole tobacco, butter bean, pick up pecans, and I've never seen this in the 60s and 70s when I was a child. We doing something for our children and grandchildren and coming generations, but most of us don't care. Hey, y'all have a nice day. May God bless you. Bye-bye. We gone. This is the Getto Free Press. I'm George Foster Rhymes, and they have a station here for voting, and I am doing a selfie. I'm getting ready to go live on Facebook. I want to invite all of you to exercise your right to go vote today. It's one of the high honors in this nation that we have a right to vote for the candidate of our choice. And as a retired military veteran, I encourage each of you to exercise your right to vote. Some of you enjoy Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and other gram, even Telegram, but you will not cast your vote for the candidate of your choice. I'm in Valdosta in Lowndes County, Georgia. I remember when I was in the armed forces, in foreign lands, I voted in the county of Brooks County, Absentee Valley. Too many of our ancestors, especially black people, we suffered, bled, and died to get this right to vote. Many of the Latinos and Asians that come today, they don't have to fight for this right, but we had to fight like heaven to get it. And so now that we have it, don't just watch me on Facebook. Get up, go to the polls and vote. I know some of you are veterans. You don't want a war started. And so you need to exercise your right. Put in the right representative. Put in the right person. person that you believe in and have confidence in. Once again, to get to Free Press, I'm George Buster Rhynes, and I do this because I love our form of government. If you don't love this nation, I'm not saying go back and leave it. We came into these shores in the year 1555 aboard a slave ship called Jesus, captained by one Sir John Hawkins, a slave trader. And we had no rights. We couldn't even own a gun. They took our name. They took our language. We can't even speak the mother tongue. And so at least, let us vote. This is our country. Africa is all humans beginning, but this is our country. So vote. And if you're not registered, register so in 2 years you can vote. I know I'm taking long on this channel because I love you. Get your mother, your father, your children, your stepchildren, your stepfather. Get them to come on out to the polls and vote. Don't just sit, say, and do nothing. Get involved. Once again, to get to Free Press, and I'm George Buster Rhynes. The people are here, and they need you here. Bye-bye. We go. In the Pittsburgh shooting synagogue, yes, I understand. I was listening to the people give their opinions. Yes, you thought you were safe in your conservative type Jewish synagogue setting. You thought you were safe. A lot of people think they're safe. They thought if they just drive around the black community in the ghetto that they would be safe. Elijah Muhammad said, and I'm not a Muslim, Elijah Muhammad said years ago that beware of what you hear happening on distant shores, for soon it will be knocking at your door. And somewhere else I heard about Germans and the Jews that they didn't care about when they saw one person leaving or another person leaving, but when it knocked on their door, they wanted somebody to come help them. So to the people in Pittsburgh, I simply want to say to you, I hope that the people across America will understand. You thought that as long as black folks are being shot down by police, as long as there's a black problem, as long as black people in poverty, as long as black folk can't find a job, as long as black folk is not being educated and going off to college, I'm safe, I'm okay, because I got it made in the shade. God is allowing the people of the world to understand that we are all in this mix together. And nobody gets out safely unless we understand how to love one another. God sent us Dr. King, and he taught nonviolence, but he died violently. And these wicked satanic people that we have among us now, their little children was taught hate, and that's what we got. We got the little haters. We had old haters yesterday. Now we got the little haters, and these young haters are teaching their children to become more haters. They're not going any place. But we who say that we love Jesus and other prophets, priests, and kings, let us love one another. The Bible says, and I'm going to close, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. And in loving kindness, I'm going to say bye-bye to you. To my fellow Americans, if you love this nation, Stand up for truth. Go beyond political party. Don't just focus on Democratic, Republican, Independent, nor Green Party. Stand up for the party of human beings and what is morally right in the eyes of our God. And if you don't believe in God, that's okay. Believe in the forces of nature. But whatever you do, help us to save this nation from itself. Because if we don't help save America, others will see that it's destroyed. If you're a pastor, love the country. If you're a doctor, love your country. Love the veterans. Love your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. When you go to McDonald's or you go to Applebee's, tell somebody hello. Tell them you love them. Tell them there's a better way. Ask them, is everything okay? Be nice to people, even if they are not nice to you. And once you find out they are not nice people, do them a favor. Next time, maybe you just want to be quiet. Don't say nothing to them if that's what makes them happy. I want you happy. So I think I'll leave you now. Bye-bye. We gone. Yep, this is the Getto Free Press. I'm George Boston Rhines, and I'm trying to contact the people, invite them to this channel, because I'm going to be talking very briefly this morning about sagging pants and dirty dreads and things of that nature. And I'm also going to be talking about the restaurants and whether the food is clean or not, based on the image that we see each and every day when we frequent these places where we wine and dine at. And I'm in Valdosta, Georgia, the county of Lowndes, and in the state of Georgia. So I'm asking you all to join me this morning. I'm sitting here at a certain location at a mode of transportation, such as a Greyhound bus station, waiting on somebody. Anyway, I was intending to do this video yesterday. I want to talk to you about black people who do not wear their hair like mine. They have it in dreads. And I've seen people with some beautiful dreads, black people, and they keep them clean and they look nice. Really, truly, yes. And I do know that in the Bible, the Nazarites, they did not cut their hair. They believed that it dealt with their relationship with God. But what I see today, black men wearing dreads, is a disgrace to the human race, as my partner just said, which making me cut this video this morning. And in addition to that, my fellow black brothers and sisters wear their pants down. You can see their underwear. And even more sickening is that a lot of these blacks work in a restaurant where they serve food. They cook the food. And I won't call a restaurant name. I'll just simply say McDonald's. I've seen it there. And I've asked some of the black people, man, won't you pull your pants up? And he do this, that. He pull his pants up. But when he pull his pants up, he reached down to pull his pants up. In a lot of cases, he got to touch his nasty underwear to do that. And he go right on back to doing what he's doing, serving your food back there or cooking it. And what do you say about it? Sure is good. That's what you say. Well, I just thought I'd drop that on you today. I want to be a little soft today because I know you all are voting. You're trying to get the right person in office to deal with this guy in the White House we call Trump. But I personally want our preachers to start standing up more. And for the people who don't know why preachers don't stand up like they used to, if you don't mind, let me help the preachers out. The reason why the churches do not participate in the things that affect your daily lives, for the most part, if you go to, I think it's Omar Johnson, I think that's his name. He broke it down real good, and pretty soon I'll be putting that on my YouTube channel, Boston G.B.R. You see, they changed the law, and they made it so church people or the church themselves would get some kind of tax money. And we can break it down, but I don't want to do it here. And the government could come after them if they go political or if they do what they used to do. So a lot of pastors and churches and movements and organizations, they got scared. So that's why the pastors, for the most part, they couldn't say nothing if they wanted to. They can't say a thing. Their hands are tied. And the president that signed that in the law, they knew what they were doing when they did it. But if I was the pastor of a church, and I may start a church, who knows? But if I did, I sure don't want no attachment, no 501(c)(3) or whatever they got to it. I don't want nothing like that, where I can't be a free, independent being. You know what I like about the animals? I often use this in my videos. A zebra. A zebra can run about 60 miles an hour. You would be surprised how fast a ostrich can run. But I never seen a state patrol give them a traffic ticket. I see eagles fly. Nobody ever fly out there and give them a ticket. Dog bark all night long and they won't give them a ticket. They may give the owner a ticket. Why is that? I can tell you why. Because they free. Yeah, man, they free. And see, we are not free because they put all these stipulations on us, all these laws they enact. And it restricts us. Do you remember the black codes? Blacks could not assemble in a group more than 5. Blacks could not drive down the highway with a white woman in the car with him. You see what I'm saying? Yet they say we're in the land of the free and the home of the brave. The black man was fighting in the wars for this nation when we were fighting in the wars of this nation when, hey, bye-bye, we're gone. Greetings. This is the Getto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines. Today, I want to help educate you, if I will. And by the way, I'm with the Getto Free Press. You can visit my channel on YouTube at Boston G.B.R. I did this experiment probably about 3 years ago. On my channel, Boston G.B.R., I have approximately 3,000 subscribers almost. 1,400,000 views. And I want you to know that, just watch. I'm going, first of all, this video dealing with Stacey Abrams is only 53 seconds. And so I want to invite you to watch this video with me this morning. I'm hoping that we all can learn something, maybe. Often we don't look into things, we just accept what people tell us. But there come a time in life when you have to do your own research. You have to stop not trusting people, but just be aware of what people do in order to control your mind as well as your thinking, okay? I've done this already 13 times this morning on this particular video with Stacey Abrams. Now, it's only 53 seconds. I'm going to ask you all, and by the way, it has 13 views. I want you all to watch as I click on this particular video, and let's watch it. Watch it with me. It's only 53 seconds. Please, listen, please.
There might be a few of you here. Thank you so much.
Okay, we just watched that particular video, and we're just going to hit the back button. And if that don't get it, we'll just go back up here to my site, click on it again. And I don't know how many of you all watched that video along with me, but that's not important. And that's not the count that we're talking about. We're talking about the count right here that says 13. I did that video this morning 19 times, and that number did not change. You are a witness that you watched it with me, and that number did not change. I also this morning watched this video right here. It's 2 minutes, but I did it. I recorded this video on my other machine. I'm going to put it on YouTube 10 times. That number 9 did not change. Okay? Now, I put these videos up some days ago, and I know people are watching it because they tell me they're watching it, and I asked 10 people to call 20 of their friends. I said, well, maybe that's high. I said, just call 3 and see if that number changed. So these among other videos I've done with Stacey Abrams, and the number never changed. Now, it's not only those videos. We've been doing this for quite a while. This proves that YouTube is a liar. And I was taught by my best teacher that whatever a man program, he controls. Okay? Now I'm closing this video out. But here's my final words to you. If you watch these videos and if the number don't change, how many times when you go in your voting booth, here in the state of Georgia in particular, and you vote for someone and you think your vote is counting, but it's never counted? This is proof that the American people had better wake up, y'all. This is living proof. Now, I know some of you all think that you're saying to yourself, but we didn't watch that video. Well, you know what? You may have a point there. So guess what? I believe in truth. Let's watch it again.
There might be a few here. Thank you so much.
Therefore, now, should I say any more? And I've been telling people that when you come to my channel and you see 1,000 views, wherever you see 1,000 views, it's probably 15 or 30,000 views. You see, but they don't want you to know the truth. See, wicked people have always been around. Liars have always been around. They don't give a dime about the truth. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Now, you all are not crazy, I hope. I think you believe that you just watched that. Again, did that number change? So now I have put this morning approximately 30 views on this myself. Now, I know you say, but Brother Ryan, that's your computer, and so you shouldn't the number should not change. I'm not at my computer. This particular computer belongs to Reverend Floyd E. Rose, and they are sitting behind me because I wanted them to watch this. We've already did this. We did this 3 years ago. But I'm doing it here because it's election time. And I'm going to ask you another question. I'm going to tell you what I did when I voted. I'm going to ask you, did you do it? Let's just say that someone asked you today, said, George Boss Rhyme, did you vote for already? I said, yes, I have. Okay? Then they could ask me, say, how can you prove it? I said, I can't. You mean to tell me you voted? They didn't give you any paper or receipt or anything to show that you voted as a receipt? My grandmama told us to always get a receipt. So for the people who have voted already at your polling place, Did you get a receipt? In fact, the paperwork that you signed when they verified your identification, did you get a copy of that? So that means that if they have a recount, and if they want to, you go and you dispute, say you did vote, they say you didn't, what proof do you have? Uh-oh. There we go again. We have become puppets. People with MS degrees, master's degrees, PhDs, they walk in that place and they vote because this is perhaps the most important election in the history of our lives. You walked in there and you didn't even get up, you don't have no proof that you was ever in there. And a machine like this one could lie to you and say you never showed up. So how can you prove it, even in a court of law? How can you prove it? And let me go back to what I started with. I got a copy of the document that I signed to show that my ID was correct and that I was entitled to vote. I got a copy laying on the dresser. I'm putting it in my other video I'm going to do on YouTube. We had better wake up. I have one receipt to show that I voted. Do you? And if you don't, shame on you. And if you believe, as you watch these videos, when you look and you only see 3 votes that I did these videos about Stacey and the gubernatorial race, you say, dog, he's not getting any views. No, these white wicked people, black wicked people who decides everything over our lives, they are liars, and they believe in God, but see, they God wear horns. And so they don't care nothing about the truth. And YouTube, all I can say is man, I'm not going to criticize YouTube. I love YouTube. But I'm telling you all, you cannot believe these wicked people. Truth is in the pudding. Now, this morning alone, not that one, not this one. This particular video, because it's short and I didn't want to use a lot of time. So I told these gentlemen behind me, I told them, I said, look, I know what I'm talking about because I don't lie on people. That's something I don't do. I don't lie on people because I don't have to. Not when you can give them the truth. I said, watch. Y'all be quiet. I said, watch. I said, now these people are not going to change the count. And this is nothing new. They've been doing it for a long time. I'm going to ask you once again as I close, what proof do you have that you voted when you walked in that voting booth? You should ask those people. The military taught me years ago when I was about 19, everything that I put my signature on, I want a copy of it. And sometimes they don't want to do it, but if you push them, they'll give it to you. My grandmama taught me that. She only had a 3rd grade education. She said when you go in the store and you buy a piece of bubble gum, if it don't cost for 1 penny, I've kind of gotten away from it, but she said get a receipt because black people walk out the store and these damn wicked ass white folk and black folk would say that you stole it. Not only that, the Jews would do it too, especially if they wanted you arrested and taken to jail, not in 2018, but I'm talking about back in the 1960s. So y'all learned something today, I hope. I didn't mean to be this long. I tried to give you one of the shortest videos I had, but I wanted you all to know as you watch my channel, tell your friends and your neighbors when you come on any YouTube channel and you see one that say 9 views or 13 views, you can almost guarantee 500 views automatically. And when you get to 1,000, you can probably count and say 5,000 views. I'm telling you people, we had better wake up. If it say 5,000 views, it may be 20,000. And when it get 200, like I got some on here for 200,000 and 300,000, it's probably at least 1 million. These people are wicked, and don't expect any more from wicked people than what you can get. In other words, what you mean by that, Brother Rhymes? I'm finna close. No more than what you get. You get lies from them. Expect that from them. Don't expect no more than that from them. So when you watch YouTube and you go to Facebook and you go to Instagram, you can't trust wicked people. That's why Donald Trump is doing what he's doing. I don't criticize Donald Trump because I know Donald Trump. The fruits of the spirits and the works of the flesh let me know all about Donald Trump, and not only him, everybody else. The Bible tells us judge a tree by the fruit it bears. The fruits YouTube showed us this morning is not good fruit, and very few real human beings would want to eat this type of fruit because it just don't work. And I'm gonna ask you again. I know you voted, but if they could do this on YouTube and not count your votes, not count your views, and you sat here and you watched it with me, and you see the numbers didn't change. Wait a minute now, wait a minute. I want you all, when I get off the phone, I want you all to come to this channel, get your recorder. Don't get the long video that's 3 minutes. Get one that's 57 seconds or 1 minute and watch it about 10 to 20 times, which I've done many times before. And I got it recorded. I got it on YouTube in another location, and I got some of them on my blog channel. I just want people to know what these wicked people are doing, and we got to use our own brain today. And you can't depend on the news media, because our news and our legal system, judicial system, and law enforcement is the best systems that money can buy. Once again, this is the Getto Free Press. I'm asking you all to check me out on Facebook and check out my YouTube channel, Boston G.B.R. Have your family members to do it. Let them know the truth, because St. John 8:32 says, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set and make you free. Y'all have a nice day. I'm going to continue to have my cup of coffee with my friends. Bye-bye. We go. Once again, this is the Getto Free Press, and we watched a couple of these videos some time ago, and the numbers had not been changed. And it proves that YouTube and perhaps Facebook and others just lie to us. They show number of views, and we believe it means the number of people that clicks on to these videos. But it is becoming clear, particularly to inform the black people, that there is something seriously wrong with what they are providing us. And so I just want to close this out by saying to you, when you see 500 views, you can rest assured that it's probably 3,000. They don't want people to know that social media is getting out to the people. And I've always said to you, don't worry about the views. Just keep sharing it with your friends, because after all, it's all about educating the people. I am going to be sharing more videos concerning the views and counts on YouTube, because it is ridiculous what they are doing to us as a people, particularly black people. I will say to you as I close, our news media, beyond question, is the best news that money can buy. And if you are black, you don't have no freedom of the press, man. You can think you do, but you don't. So I want to say to you, y'all have a nice day, and let the world know that I just took you through several views of this video here. It's only 53 seconds. I have watched it this morning now at least 20 times to prove my point that we got liars masquerading as Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindu, and you. I would never lie to you like that. If I could not give the person or this station or any public access technology instrument the actual number of views, I wouldn't put any views at all. Once again, to Getto Free Press, we report what others ignore. And we watch this video together. And when you go to vote, if they cannot count these votes, but give you a number, what does this say about our polling places where we go vote? And most of us will not even ask for what I asked for the other day when I voted. I asked for a copy of the form that I signed to verify who I was. So when these wicked devil worshipers say, if there's a recount, if they say to me, you never voted, and I won't get angry with them, I would just simply pull out the form that I signed, and they witness. I would just show it to them. Do you have such a form? Did you think enough to get a copy or to show that you voted? Because if they say you did not vote, guess what? Then you just as ignorant and satanic as the devil himself when you are dealing with a bunch of devils. And we have to call the devil what they are today. We can no longer call them Christians and Muslims and etc. the best of the best. Only a devil would give you numbers like this. And you and your family, you call your family members and watch one of these videos. Don't, as I said in the other video I just cut, don't even get a 1 minute video. Don't get a 2 minute, 8-second video. Get a little video that's only 53 seconds. Call your friends and ask them to view that on a different computer. And then you keep a track of it and see how that number there change. It will not change. I've been doing this for at least 2 years. And I know I would not do this if I had not done my homework. They are liars of the first order. Big liars. They bigger than big. They giant liars. An elephant ain't got nothing on these wicked liars. Liars. Bye-bye. Go. This is the Getto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhymes. I'm in Valdosta, Georgia. And I was uploading a video, or rather doing a video in front of Lowndes County High School, the school that I've been banned for 5 years and 5 months following the death of Kendrick Johnson by Superintendent Wes Taylor, who denied he did it. So as I was cutting my video that I'm going to upload later on tonight on my YouTube channel, that's Boston G.B.R. But I want you to know that a few months ago I was out there, and of course the Valdosta Police Department came out and said that somebody had called them and said that I was blocking traffic or in the street. Same liars that probably put me under this criminal trespass. I call them devil worshippers. I call them wicked people. And so I can kind of understand now what Kenneth and Jackie, the parents of KJ, was talking about when they talked about how wicked Valdosta and Lowndes County is. And the people, including the people that Wes Taylor and the high circles of Lowndes County High School, and that the parents that have children going to Lowndes County High School need to beware, because there's a great possibility that their children are not safe. Now, I didn't say that, and you watch my video, you will hear the father say that, because the father said that I didn't. Now, I'm about to say it. They are wicked, man. These my words now, they wicked. He said it, and now I'm saying it. Make no mistake about it, they wicked, man. So the sheriff deputy today said that the school called him about somebody recording. I don't know where he said, whether it was in the street or whatever. But I just want you all to know that I'll probably go back tomorrow. You see, it's something about the man or woman of God. When we understand the devil and his imps, we must not take down nor compromise. And we know that many people who proclaim to be followers of Jesus, the son of Amram and Yoshabel Moses, Allah, they masquerade as good people. But really they're satanic. Because if you're not satanic, then you stand up for your children. You stand up for everybody that's, whether they be righteous or wicked. You stand up. God has never used a coward in his program. And so, I may not go to church and play religious games like you. I used to go to the synagogue. I used to sit among the Jews, even here in Valdosta. Oh, yes, I did. I sat with them. I've gone to the mosque and I've sat down with the Muslims. I've sat down with people on W.D. Muhammad's side of the house, as well as Minister Farrakhan. I sat with them. When I was in Okinawa, Japan in 1974 and 75, I sit down with the Buddhists, and they would take me to see some of their practices because I was from South Georgia and I didn't understand their religion. So today I'm just doing this video, I'm uploading this live because I want you all to know that the price you pay when you stand up for what is right. I don't play games in church or out of the church. I'm a free man. I don't have to lie. I don't have to scratch where I don't itch. Don't have to lie on nobody. It's good being a human being, man. I wasn't always a human being. I upload videos and all I would have to do if I wanted a lot of views, believe me, I know how to get a lot of views. All I have to do is lower my pants down and let you see my private parts. Or just put some girls on, shaking their backside, got their breasts hanging out, that a baby should be sucking, and they won't let a baby suck their breast. They give them to a man or another woman. Because we so messed up in the mind. It's hard to find a human being anymore. It's hard, man. And when you find a human being today, if you're not careful, they'll label him crazy. Or they'll send the police out on him. And they know that what I'm saying is nothing more than trying to encourage our children to stand up for what is right. I'm trying to tell my children that if you go to church and talk about Jesus, the son of Amram and Yoshua Moses, or Buddha, or Allah, or Jah, or Jehovah, or El, that you at least should stand up for right and righteousness. Call it as it is, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I have little respect for any pastor who all he can do is preach behind the pulpit. Now, I'm not criticizing pastors. I'm not criticizing pastors because I personally believe that all pastors stand up, not only behind the four walls of a church, but they stand up against the injustices and the wrongdoing in their beloved community. Y'all have a nice day. I don't do this for my health. I wouldn't even cut this video. But when the Lowndes County Sheriff Department deputy, I forgot to turn the camera on him, I was so outdone by seeing the devil still in place. Doing what they're supposed to do. Come up against the righteous. That's why a lot of religious folk, when they see me, they go the other way. If they at McDonald's, they turn around. Some of them walk out, don't eat, they forget they even want to eat. And you know what I do? It may sound funny, but I pray for them. Because I love them just that much. You see, I want them to be a real servant of God. You can't be a servant of God when you meet God's real people, whoever they may be, and I'm not even included in that unless God says so. Y'all have a nice day. I want to thank that sheriff deputy for doing what he's being paid to do. When he receive a call from wicked people or righteous people, he must respond. And I want to commend Sheriff Polk for training that deputy, because when he came out, he was just as polite and respectful as anyone could be. Sheriff Polk, I want to appreciate you, man. I'm not saying this to pacify you or nobody else. I'm saying it because it's the truth. I commend that deputy because he came out in the spirit of a peacemaker. And when you look on the sheriff deputy's car, you'll see columns. One represent strength, the other represent beauty. You'll see 3 steps: faith, hope, and charity. And they carry, that's enough. Y'all have a nice day. Love you, man. I love all of you. I love you so much that I'm willing to give you the truth. Bye-bye. We're gone. Greetings, this is the Get To Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhymes, and I just love giving you all the truth. Man, I tell you, I don't know what's wrong with black folk. I really don't. I don't know what's wrong with you all. You all get black attorneys, and the black attorneys take your money. You go buy cars from these dealerships here in Valdosta and get ripped off. I'm talking about you black folk. Yeah, I know, you're just like me. And then, when you get ripped off, you know the statute of limitation on something is very short, and you're going to wait 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, then expect the people going to pay you your money back? What's wrong with you black folk? I'm black too now, that's my family. But see, I'm trying to help y'all. It's sad, it's sickening how these people, black people, getting ripped off by car dealerships here in Valdosta, and when they go to an attorney, the attorney won't even show up to court, and some people think they sell them out. Y'all maybe need to stop getting black attorneys. I'm not putting black attorneys down, but I mean, I was intending to say this probably about 4 months ago. I'm hearing a lot of people complain about the black attorneys. Why y'all ain't talking about the white attorneys? I know they probably ripping you off too. Don't just down the black attorneys. You know, they got something to call the bar complaint. You can make a bar complaint, but we know that don't work either. I heard one attorney told him thing ain't worth 3 cents. The best thing you can do is make sure that you all get on Facebook and tell the people who the wicked and unfair dealerships are. That's what you got to do. You know, you all getting your tax money ready. These people getting them cars ready. And you going to buy them. They go down and get them sorry cars, just like the people just told me a few minutes ago when they got a car. It wasn't no good. They didn't make it back from Albany. Y'all better wake up, people. Y'all excuse me for cutting the video like this, but I tell you the truth. Boy, everybody don't rip us off, man. Well, ain't gonna rip me off, but it just don't make sense. Another thing while I'm at it, I saw gas for $2.49 here at the filling station a few minutes ago. Isn't that something? Right here on Garden Street, guess what the price of it is? $2.89 in the black community. Boy, y'all just love giving y'all money away in the black community, don't you? Y'all some of the richest black folk I've ever seen in my life, man. Y'all need to move to Atlanta. Y'all got that much money. These service stations, I mean, ain't no law on gasoline in the state of Georgia. I mean, black folk down here in the black community. Go on the other side of town, the black community, boy, they just racking up on y'all, boy. I keep my money. I got other thing. I go buy cotton candy with my money. Y'all pay for gas, man. I tell you the truth. Y'all don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. I mean, I'm laughing, but it ain't funny, man. I don't know what's wrong with black people in Valdosta, Lowndes County. I believe they scared as heaven. That's what I believe. Lord have mercy. But anyway, y'all have a nice day. I just had somebody come and tell me what happened to them about a certain car dealership here in Valdosta, and they gave me the paperwork. And I would call a dealership name, but I'm embarrassed to call his name because they don't wait until the statute of limitation went out, and the judge told him, say, you know how long it's been, the statute of limitation, that we can't do nothing on that. Lord have mercy. Hey, y'all excuse me. I'm laughing, but I'm really sad, and I'm sad that people take people money. I ain't talking about no $100, $200, $300 either. Be quiet, please. I'm talking $3,500. That's what I'm talking about. $3,500. And it's a shame, and it's a disgrace. Black folk, you got to wake up. You educated now. You don't stay in the butterbean field. You don't have to pick the cotton now. Wake up, man. And another thing, when an attorney or anybody else ripped you off, call somebody. There's still a few people in the press that will call these people's names out so other people won't get ripped off. There are low-income people need that $3,500 to take care of their children. But y'all won't connect the dots just because they take your $500. You say, oh, well, God will work it out. I'll go down to church and I'll pray for it and I'll anoint it with some oil and God will take. God ain't going to take care of that, man. Ain't no way in the girl. If God take care of that, man, fuck you. God ain't in this stupid business, man. Y'all have a nice day. I'm sorry. Please don't think I'm playing with you now because I'm laughing, but I'm in pain as well. This is real. I'm sitting here. I started not to even cut the video. I say to myself, I want people in Valdosta. I'm not talking about Quitman. I'm not talking about Albany. I'm talking about people right here in Valdosta. Right. Y'all better wake up to the realities of now. Peace be unto you. Bye-bye. I'm gone. Greetings. I'm George Rhymes in Valdosta, Georgia. Everybody's talking about the election, voter suppression, voter intimidation, and the things that Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp is doing against black voters in the state of Georgia and other states, North Dakota, how they're trying to stop the black vote. Everybody seems to be concerned about that now. Well, welcome to Facebook Live. Let me say to all national, state, and local news media networks, as well as the Atlanta Journal and Constitution, the New York Times, etc., etc. All of you seem to be concerned now about voter suppression, etc., etc. But in December 21st, 2010, I notified all of you all what was happening to the Quitman 10+2 in Quitman, Georgia, in the county of Brooks and in the state of Georgia. I came to you in the clearest and best form as an American citizen and as a retired military veteran. Along with Tyrone Brooks, Reverend Jesse L. Jackson, attorney, Joseph Lowry's signature that signed off on the videos, DVDs that we sent to Eric Holder concerning what Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp did to the Quitman 10+2 and other cities across the state that I have documented. I even talked with Victor Blackwell of CNN in Macon, Georgia, about how black elected officials were being removed from office. You see, you all talking about voting, but you don't hear nobody, American people, listen, American people, you do not hear them talking about after the Democrats vote and elect a black person into office, they come out in these small rural Georgia towns and remove these people based upon lies, and there is no white-owned, no white-controlled, no white-dominated newspaper or television station that will even publish the hell that these black officials are going through after they do what Stacey Abrams asked us to do, and that is to vote. Voting is good. But if you vote along and then when these black elected officials come under attack by wicked white folk and black Uncle Toms and Aunt James who sit on city council as puppets of white people, then when you call the Democratic Party chair, DuBose Porter, who is white, he don't say a heavenly thing about it, nor will he even come to the aid of all of these cities across the state of Georgia, approximately 30 that I have investigated, have these people talking. They are willing to talk to the news media, but the news media don't give a damn about what's going on, about the voter suppression, voter intimidation, and removing blacks from office after they are elected by a majority vote. And it is very distasteful. 60 Minutes, 48 Hours, CNBC, MSNBC, ABC, Nightline, Dateline, and Your Line. Now everybody seems to be acting like they're concerned about you voting. But what good is it to vote a person into office and then these white folk, along with Black Uncle Tom and weak? It's just a shame, y'all. Look here, I'm through. But you know, I don't understand how this country can do this. And I don't want to be long, but I do want to be strong. And if you want to see what I'm saying and see if I'm lying like these white folk, I'm not lying like these white people. I'm not lying like CBS, NBC, MSN. Look, Rachel Maddow, I sent her a video or an email. It went to newspapers across the United States. Rachel Maddow did pick up and talk about the Equipment 10 and what Brian P. Kemp did to those people. But what y'all don't know will come up in the next video. Check the next video. I'm closing this one out now. Bye-bye. We gone. Once again, this is the Get To Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines. You know, with all the talk about voter suppression, voter intimidation, and keeping blacks from voting, I want to talk to you about the case of the Equipment 10+2, a case that I have playing behind me because of the fact that it is a disgrace in terms of how the news media just ignore the cries for help to identify what they are doing to black elected officials here in the state of Georgia. December the 21st, I was in Atlanta, Georgia with my brother when I got a call from Brooks County. Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp sent his Corps of investigators down to Quitman to investigate what was known then as the Equipment 10+2, brought them up on approximately 100 to 200 bogus voter fraud charges, intimidated the voters in the community to the degree that one 84-year-old black woman in Morven said she would never ever vote again because of what Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation did to black folks over in that little small rural town. And thank God for Representative Tyrone Brooks, the late Senator Robert Brown, Helen Butler, and Senator Lucas out of Macon, Georgia. All these people came down along with others. DuBose Porter from the DuBose Porter. DuBose Porter is executive chair of the Democratic Party, and he didn't say a heavenly thing. He totally ignored it. And personally, I don't think that DuBose Porter should even be the Democratic Party chair. He may need to be on the Republican Party chair, but not the Democratic chair. Now back on point. They removed Dr. Nancy Dennett from her seat on the Board of Education in Brooks County. They removed Diane, and it just was a disgrace. So I want to rush right through it, but by order of Governor Deere, they removed those black folk from office. So Stacey Abrams and CNN and Lemon and Rachel Maddow, you all are talking about voting suppression and voter intimidation, but you're not talking about what they are doing to remove blacks from office even when they are elected. You're not even addressing that. And I've been sending y'all videos like a madman. And we sent these videos up as far as Eric Holder because the local Department of Justice in Atlanta did not even address the issue. Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp was a definite part of the problem, and as the late Reverend Pastor Avery said, Brian P. Kemp, the Attorney General, and others lied on the stand. He even mentions David Miller, the district attorney in Valdosta, Lowndes County, in this fiasco they brought up against the Equipment 10+2. To make a long story short, so they brought these black folk up on mishandling ballots, putting ballots in the mailbox for their relatives and other people, and for it just was a disgrace. But let me say this now, the same thing that they use on the Equipment 10+2, the same charges, I have found these same violations, allegedly, upon other blacks across the state of Georgia, from Warrenton, Georgia, west to Douglas, Georgia, back east to from to Dawson, Georgia West, back to East Douglas with Olivia Coley-Pearson, and all you have to do is Google this. And it is indeed a disgrace. Now look, and I'm getting ready to close this out, y'all. This stuff is too complicated for me to address here. But I want you to know that your news media, every one of them, is not worth 3 cents. And they are part of voter suppression. They are part of the problem. That's Abram behind me there. And he's saying that they all lied on the stand. So when I sent these videos out, and I post all this on YouTube. Now, YouTube is not any good either. YouTube used to have my videos up. You know, they cut out all the videos that go back. They cut them out to the last 5 months. Personally, I believe they're doing it by design. They don't want people to see the truth about Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp. But you have to understand, I don't trust these white folk. Based on my military, I'm retired from the military, I don't trust these white folk. And so what I do when you see me put up a video, it's just like this one. You better believe me that I record them. Now, you can't, I don't know how, somebody know, please call me and tell me. I can't get the ones I go live on, but I still take my camera and record it so I can keep it as an archival record, you see. So look, you know, after 4 years, all of the 100 to 200 charges they brought up on these 10 people in Brooks County. Oh, wait a minute, tell you one other thing. They went by and got added 2 other people with them. So then they became known as Equipment 10 plus 2. Do you know after 4 years? No. After 1 year, they had to put Nancy Dennett and all those people that they removed from the board, they had to put them back on the board. That's Governor Deal did that. It's a shame what they're doing to black people. This is why I'm saying black people are foolish to go in the military. What in the hell are you fighting for, man? What are you defending when you go over there? You still don't have rights, man, and women and children. Especially in time of war. If there's another war, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think black folks should be non-participants until we are given citizenship rights here in this country. Now, if I may, Lula Smart was a trial case because all these people was innocent, and they said, we are going to stand before a jury and not one white judge. And that's what they did. The first one was Miss Lula Smart. They tried her first, it was a mistrial. They tried her again, the second trial was a mistrial. They tried her again, 19 days, and they found her not guilty of all charges. About 40 charges, some felonies. She could have went to prison on all these bogus charges by Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp and his all-white State Board of Elections. But then again, who cares, y'all? I got all this on my channel, and before I close, I later found out from Quitman 10 plus 2, I went to Madison, Florida, group of blacks down there out of another state. They brought them up just like they did to Quitman 10 on the same bogus charges. I talked with the attorneys. You'll see all this on my Boston G.B.R. YouTube channel. So I'm not going to tell you about all these places, but as I call them out here now, if you would only Google these places and put black elected officials mistreated, you can watch and hear them talk. You see, that's the thing about it. It's not me talking. I'm not giving my opinion. These are real world facts that Rachel Maddow, 60 Minutes, 48 Hours, Dateline, Nightline, and Your Line would publish if they really cared. So they're playing a game with you, man. They'll talk about voter suppression and voter intimidation and how they making it hard for voters and all this kind of jazz. But what about after they do what we want them to do, and that's to go vote, and then after they get in office, they are attacked by these wicked white folk and these sorry behind weak Negroes who align themselves with the wicked, and they become worse than the devil himself. And it's time for somebody to talk about it. When I felt the pain of these mostly black women, what they're going through, their mothers and fathers love them, their children love them, and here they got to go to the court and got to get an attorney to defend them. No NAACP will finance their attorney fees. Democratic Party, for the most part, don't say a heavenly thing. just sit, say, and do nothing. Your pastors, not all of them, but most of them, they can't be found. Some of those people are members of churches, and the pastor of their own church won't even support them because they're scared. They speak boldly in church behind four walls, and they come out and they bury their head in the sand like the legend concerning the ostrich bird. I feel the pain of these black women. And so what do? I cut videos like this. And you know what? Negroes don't even watch them. You know why? They don't care. But as soon as one of their family members get caught up, but then time their family member get caught up into something with the law and mistreatment or cannot vote, then they'll come running to people like me and others who will stand up and say something. Well, let me close by saying this to you. I'm hoping that black people will wake up to the realities of now. Just going to church, paying your tithe, praying to a God too high and a hell too low, because you won't go where you need to go. This is the Getto Free Press. And by the way, they lied on equipment 10, but in the end, truth, right, and justice won. All 12 of those black people were set free, came out from under that bogus charge by Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp, but not before one of them died. Latasha Head, black girl, one of the 12. She died. I talked to her father, and he believed that the stress and pressure that they put upon her under Secretary of State resulted in her demise. But I'm going to say it again, but then again, who cares? Surely the news media don't care. Rachel Maddow, I turned around after she did her little thing the other week, sent her other videos. I sure did. Sent them to Al Sharpton and others that we thought was on our side. They don't give a damn about you, man. This is why you all got to pick up your cell phone, go down and get your license, and report your own news, man. And this is what a lot of people are doing now. Because the white news media, after 300 or 400 years, we ought to know now. They don't give a damn about us. And that's one thing about it. I want to thank Donald Trump. The Honorable President Trump has really taught black folks something. If you didn't know who your neighbors were, you know now. If you didn't know who the black person was in your family, you didn't know where they stand, you know now. You're not deceived no more. You know them now. And if you don't believe that a person is operating under the devil when you don't see no love, no passion, no peace, no joy, no temperance, when you don't see any of these things in your family member, and they claim to be a Republican or a Democrat, you don't have to worry about them. You'll know that they're wicked people, man. If everything that's done by Democrats are wicked, ugly, satanic, and if your family member don't have nothing to say about a Democrat or Republican simply because they are a different party from you, that should let you know right there they got a mental disorder. There's some people, I listen to them on radio, conservative radio. I say to myself, if their mama or if their father is a Democrat, I mean, how can they live in the same house with them? How can they walk with them and breathe with them during family reunions? In fact, how can you go to a Republican doctor when you know a Republican feel as bad and hateful toward a Democrat as we hear on Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, Mark Levin, and all these places? How can you go to that Republican doctor, man? Y'all better wake up. You go buy a new car from a Republican car dealership, you know a Republican on it, and you go there and spend your money, and you see how they support these hateful people on TV, and on radio, and greeting once again. This is the Getto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines. You know, Stacey Abrams, the candidate for the governor of the state of Georgia, recently received robocalls, and they are racist in nature, and also Oprah Winfrey. And so black people had better wake up to the realities of now. You go, I have gone, my relatives have gone on foreign battlefields to fight for this nation in time of war. And we had better wake up. Why should black people in the United States of America join the armed forces when they keep denying us our very citizenship rights? When you look at it, we are very ignorant people. We are about the only people on this planet, I believe, that would do such over and over again. This government, the United States of America, continues to beat us down, man. I never dreamed that the things that my grandmother, my grandfather, my great-grandfather would tell me about as a child, that I would see them today. And even more sickening today is that we don't have that many black folk today that will even stand up and say boo. And now people are talking about voting rights impediments and suppression, and 53,000 to 200,000 Democrats or blacks, really 70 or 80% of them are black folk, being kept away from the polls through Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp's actions. But even more sickening than that is the fact that since December 21st, 2010, when Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, went into Brooks County, intimidated black folks, removed them from office. The postal clerk there in Brooks County, John Boone, lied on the stand, as Reverend Avery have already stated. Secretary of State lied on the stand. David Miller, I don't think he ever got the letter back that the judge told him to bring to court. And other people perjured themselves on the stand, and yet nothing was done about it. They brought the equipment team up on 100 to 200 bogus voter fraud charges, only to have them dropped 4 years later. And do you black folks know that no news media in the state of Georgia or in the United States have connected the dots to publish the truth in that case, and how it interrelates with approximately 25 to 30 other cities with the same identical bogus charges brought up against black people? Nobody seemed to care. I know you don't care. And since you don't care, I know I'm wasting my time. News media wouldn't touch it. And black people would not even go into these towns to assist these people. Some of these people are in jail, prison. They didn't violate no law. You know, it's sad how we, black folk, just don't give a damn. But we'll go to church and beg God and Jesus to do for us that which we know we should do for ourselves. I know nobody wants to hear this kind of talk. Well, one day I'm going to find a woman that'll come on and take off her clothes and show you her breasts and a bikini. Or maybe I'll get some black people to fight on this channel and I'll film it. You'll watch that. You'll spread that all over the internet. If somebody come and tell you something that is of value that can save your children so your children would not have to catch the same hell that you are catching, you don't care about that. If you can find a religious leader today in the black community that'll stand up, you better believe it, they ain't supporting him. But if he can get up there and have a choir that sang all the songs and preach for 3 minutes, then sing some more songs and go home, that'll soothe you, you'll give all your 10% of your $1 million income every year to them. But the people who, I got a call this morning from an individual up in Alma, Georgia. They shot the man's son. And he caught. This is the Getto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines, and I'm sitting here and I'm watching MSNBC, and I'm watching the elections, and I want you, America, to watch the TV with a new mindset. I want you to watch as they cover these most important elections tonight. I want you to see how many black people, news reporters and journalists, if you will, that you will see on TV speaking on the subject of our nation. This is something that I want you to watch. Go to all your TV stations and just watch. It is as if though the black man is excluded from these type of conversations. And all I'm asking you to do, let me repeat, all I'm asking you to do is to watch and see. They will have black women, and they'll have black conservatives, even call them in on MSNBC. But look and see how many strong black male leaders that we respect, that they'll let be given a major voice tonight. I want you to watch it with me, okay? Y'all have a nice day. By the way, when you get time, go to Boston G.B.R. on YouTube. I'm down here at Serenity Church. Reverend Rowe, let me ask you a question, my brother. What do you think about the elections?
Well, I think the election, I won't know until it's over.
Right.
Well, I hope that the Democrats win, and I hope it's a sweep.
What do you think about the female in Georgia here?
Oh, yeah. That's my girl. She's good.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You heard it. Peace. Greetings. This is George Boston Ryan with the Getto Free Press, sitting down at McDonald's having a cup of coffee on a Monday morning. And I just want to say greetings to all of my friends and the people who hit me up on Facebook. I want you to know that I love you. But above all, I'm just sitting here chilling, and I want you to know that I'm not talking about anyone. I'm not downing anyone. I'm thanking the divine source for keeping me aware and familiar with what's going on in my world. And before I left out this morning, the house, I didn't know what to put in my hand. And so what I did, I remembered the Nation of Islam back in the days of old, before I could digest the beef of what's going on in the world. And so what I did this morning, short form, I picked up a copy of Message to the Black Man. I have about 4 copies of this book at my house. I used to have a bookstore, and I sold these, and I keep these books around. Every so often I have to go back and read Message to the Black Man. It is a very powerful book. I recommend everybody to get a copy of it. When I was young, I picked this book up, and I never forget, I threw it across the floor because it didn't make no sense to me. But as I see what's going on in this world, around the 80s, I picked it back up again. And so y'all have a nice day. If you get an opportunity, read. This is not my book, but it's a powerful book. Message to the black man. Peace be unto you. May God bless you, and may heaven smile upon you. I talk the way I do, and I share with you because I love you just that much. Have a nice day. From the woods of South Georgia, Valdosta. Brother Ryan's trying to reach out and touch somebody's life. I know you got a lot of people trying to get you to heaven, but I just want to get you across the street. I just want to get you into a job. I just want you to create your own business. I want to get you into the black businesses wherein black people have created businesses. We would only patronize each other in business. We could get our people up out of the mud tomorrow. And just remember, people set up convenience stores in our communities and will not even return a dime back in our community. And we just go along to get along. And it's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to wake up, y'all. When I was on the radio back in the 70s, I tell you, I tried to give you a balanced diet. At one point, I tried to get you to heaven. But I understood that heaven is tomorrow, but our children need to go to school. They need books, they need pencils, they need right direction, they need hot knowledge, they need to know. So when they go up to go to school, and with all the things that happen in school, they need parents who will address the issues. But some of the children are too afraid to even talk about it. Peace be unto y'all. Have a nice day. Pick up a book, man. Read something other than the Bible. I was brought up with the Bible, but when I started reading about the books that are associated with the Bible, for instance, and I know people tell you don't read them, but they told me don't read the lost books of the Bible. So first thing I did, I started reading them. I didn't only read the Bible, I picked up other books. The very ones they told me not to read, those are ones I went and picked up, such as the 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 books of Moses. I picked up the book of the Maccabees, the book of the Apocrypha. I picked up the book of Jasher. I picked up the book of the Wars of God, the big book of the Knowledge of God, and just so many other books, and books that they took from the book for their own reasons. I read about the Alexandrian Library, wherein 300,000 volumes that black people had collected over these ancient of years, and the Catholic Church went in, took all of those historic documents. They burned some, I'm told. I wasn't told, I've read it. They destroyed a lot of those ancient books, and some of them they took beneath the Vatican. People don't want to talk about it. There are books that our ancestors wrote that we know little to nothing about. We don't know the greatness of who we are as a people. And I can't blame you for that, because I used to be the same way. And I still count myself ignorant. I'm not in a position to tell nobody because I'm ignorant myself. And I'm smart enough to know I'm ignorant. When I look at what I don't know, I am indeed an ignorant man. I wear a dashiki, the one I have on. I don't know if you can see it or not. But even this dashiki that I'm wearing, if you look at it, you will see this symbol here represent certain things. It represent languages. It represent the bottom of the slave ship. And we wear these things and we don't look at the signs and symbols because nobody's willing to teach us. I hear people often criticizing the Masonic Lodge and the Masons. Well, you can criticize them. I'm a Mason, by the way, but it's not about being a Mason. It's about being a real person that wants knowledge. And when you study the Knights Templars, when you study the Crusades, and when you study the originators, the blacks who wrote the Bible, and then study the Ethiopians, and it's just so much about our heritage is so rich. And sometimes I see people. I got on Facebook this morning and I just watched these grown men. They singing and just moving their bodies and all that look good. But what about somebody that will take the time to try to teach our people something? That's why when I go to church and I hear people sing, but who is willing to give us some good teaching? I know y'all hate Minister Farrakhan, and you hate Elijah Muhammad and Omar Johnson and Ben Yakawin and Henry Clark and Malcolm X. I go back and listen to these people. These were the cornerstones of our community. And if you would just listen, yes, I know Elijah Muhammad was a Muslim, but if we would have listened to that man, we would be better off today. If Elijah Muhammad and if Louis Farrakhan had gotten together, and if Jesse Jackson had gotten together, Martin Luther King King had gotten together. Rather than fighting one another, the Baptists, the Holy, the Methodist, the Presbyterian, the Catholic, the Jehovah's Witnesses, we all come together and understand that we all in this struggle together. We got the same black skin, we catching the same hell. If you're a Christian, you're catching hell. If you're a Muslim, you're catching hell. If you're an ancient Hebrew, black Israelite, you're catching hell. And so why we sit down fighting about, I believe in Jesus, I believe in John, I believe in El Shaddai, I believe in whatever, Allah. All these names, the things that people have put out here to divide us and make us fight one another like wild animals. And what I do now is sometimes I go into the woods. I go deep down in the woods so I can get my humanistic mind back and realize that I'm a human being. I get in the forest and I watch the animals. They don't go around just killing each other, slapping each other side the head just for fun and calling each other dirty names and talking about each other. Your head longer than mine. Your teeth is not right. You need to go see a dentist. Animals in the forest just accept one another. Stay out of the way of the ones that will eat them up, and they only eat the animals for food. They don't just go around killing them just to see them lie on the street dead. And so yet we claim to be the high-class animals. If we are the high-class animals, then why can't we stand up and act like it? Today we are acting like the beasts of the field, and the beast of the field is acting like the human being that God created, but we have lost our instinct. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is look at it. Have you ever seen an elephant spray and pollute the environment? Have you seen a lion dump chemicals in the ocean where you can't eat the fish? Have you seen the fish of the sea put anything on land that destroy man? All he do what God gave him to do, swim in the water, produce fish and little baby fish, and we eat them up. But look at us. Everything we touch, we want to kill it. We want to control it. We are not even supposed to have to pay for water if you think about it. We should not even have to get driver's license if you think about it. We should not have to do all of these things that they have put restrictions on us, and you got to think about these things. They have made slaves out of us, and I don't care what you say. For instance, have you ever seen the State Patrol give a zebra a speeding ticket, and the speed of a zebra is 60 miles an hour? If he can out there and run 60 miles an hour, they don't pull him over and give him no ticket. And so we got all these restrictions they have put on us, and they really have taken away all of our rights. We can't even chew gum in the public now. I mean, it gets on your nerve, but what I'm saying is that we got to wake up today. I went to church one Sunday. Y'all excuse me. Somebody may get mad about this. I ain't going to say it. Y'all have a nice day. Bye-bye. We gone.